It is the rainy season, so we thought, why not bring you a horror story set during a storm? You may have heard that during stormy rains, such mysterious creatures are often seen more frequently. Today's story is just like that, so, without wasting any time, let's begin. I live in Karachi. Our house is in the Gulshan area. My family consists of my mother, father, my younger sister Hina, and me. The environment at home is very peaceful, and our relationships with each other are very warm. Our uncle and aunt also live in Karachi, just 2 streets away from us. They were not just relatives for us, but more like very close family. My uncle was a cheerful, lively person, always joking around, which is why he was also a good friend of my father. Allah had blessed him with everything except the joy of having children, but he never let that become a complaint. He always loved me and my sister as if we were his own children. Their house was like our second home, so you can understand our bond wasn't just by name, but deeply emotional now. Coming to that day in the evening, everyone was leaving for Hyderabad to attend a relative's wedding. I didn't go because my final exams were going on. Due to my exams, I had stayed awake all night, and when I came home after giving my paper, I was so exhausted that I didn't realize how time passed while being busy with everyone. By evening, they all left after giving me instructions. That night, after dinner, I offered my prayers, then studied for a while. Due to the fatigue, I lay down to sleep and fell into a deep slumber. It must have been around 11 o'clock at night, and I was sleeping as if nothing in the world could wake me. Suddenly, the loud ringing of a call woke me up. I got up and picked up the phone. It was my father calling. "Assalamu alaikum," I said, as usual. On the other end, my father replied, "Walaikum assalam. Tala beta." "What were you doing?" His voice sounded a bit serious. "I was sleeping, Abu." "Did you all reach safely?" I asked. What he said next made the ground slip from under my feet. Their car had met with an accident, and at that moment, everyone was in the hospital. My father said it wasn't too serious, that everyone was only slightly injured, but I could hear restlessness in his voice, as if he was hiding something. The way he was speaking gave me a feeling of some impending misfortune. He told me not to worry, but it was becoming difficult for me to stay at home. My heart wanted to go to them immediately, so I prepared at once and left in the darkness of the night. What happened to me during that journey remains the scariest incident of my life to this day. I had already taken the address. It was about a 3-hour journey. When I left the house, a light drizzle had already started. In Karachi, people usually stay awake late at night, so for a while I didn't feel lonely at all. The streets were lit, and people could still be seen moving about. Half an hour later, the drizzle turned into a heavy downpour, and bright flashes of lightning began to split the sky. By now, I had driven far from the city. The road had grown eerily deserted, and only once in a while would a lone car pass by. The wipers of my car were moving non-stop, but the heavy rain still blurred my vision. Driving fast had become difficult. In my mind, all I wanted was to reach my family as soon as possible, but the rain made that seem impossible. I could only see the road in the faint glow of the street lamps placed at long intervals. On either side of the road, thick trees blocked even that faint light dot by nature. I am quite brave, but at that moment, the feeling of being alone in such darkness began to weigh on me. I kept praying that this journey would end safely. Whenever lightning flashed, the whole scene appeared before me. huge trees swaying in the fierce wind, their shapes shifting into strange and frightening forms. Sometimes it even seemed as if someone far ahead was calling me, beckoning me towards them. I tried not to focus on these things, instead keeping my mind on reaching my family. But then, during a sudden flash of lightning, I saw, right in the middle of the road, a human-like figure standing still, waving its arms frantically as if asking me to stop. At first, I thought it might be a thief, a bandit, or someone planning to rob me. Then, suddenly, all the scary stories I had heard since childhood came rushing back. Tales of jinn and spirits taking on different forms to target lone travelers. The thought made my hair stand on end. Still, another thought crossed my mind. Perhaps it was someone in real need of help, stranded on such a night in the middle of nowhere. Cautiously, I slowed the car and approached. But when I got close, there was no one there, not even the shadow of a figure. I looked around carefully, but all I could see was emptiness and silence all around. For a moment, I couldn't believe my own eyes. Had I really seen something? Or was it just my imagination? Fear gripped me, and I pressed the accelerator, driving recklessly ahead. I had barely gone a short distance when suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder from behind. My breath froze, my heart pounding violently. I slowly turned my head, and what I saw made my blood run cold. On the back seat, it looked as if a huge mound of hair was lying there. I don't know what creature of God it was, but it was larger than any normal human, completely covered in thick hair, with only 2 glowing red eyes visible. Its hands and feet had long, thick nails. It was glaring at me with its terrifying blood-red eyes, full of rage. My own eyes widened in shock. My heart leaped into my throat, and breathing became difficult. My limbs felt numb, and I couldn't move at all. With great effort, I forced myself to regain control over my senses. Reciting verses from the Quran, I pressed the accelerator hard, speeding the car as fast as I could. After a short while, I felt that the back seat was empty again. I glanced through the rearview mirror. The creature had vanished, but before I could even take a full breath of relief, I began to feel that the car was getting heavier, as if it were being weighed down, making it harder to drive. A moment ago, I had been driving it like a jet, but now it felt slower than a donkey cart, refusing to move easily. And then, from behind me, came a horrifying sound. I had never heard such a spine-chilling noise in my entire life. I turned my head, and there it was again. That same inhuman creature was sitting on the back seat once more. Its legs had grown so long that they hung out through the car's window, dragging along the road. That was why the car had been so hard to move forward. The sight made my very soul tremble. I cannot even describe the depth of fear I felt in that moment. Without knowing what else to do, I began loudly reciting Quranic verses and Ayatul Kursi, in a voice that was almost like crying. After a while, the car began to feel lighter again and picked up speed, but the nightmare wasn't over. The same pattern continued. Sometimes that monstrous being would appear behind me, sometimes right beside me in the passenger seat. Sometimes it laughed, and other times it glared at me with furious eyes. I kept reciting prayers non-stop while driving as fast as I could. After nearly an hour, I began to see signs of the city ahead. That's when the creature finally disappeared. I thanked Allah for making it leave without causing me harm, but just 15 minutes away from the hospital, I got another shock. In the dark of the night, under the heavy rain, I saw my uncle, the same uncle who had gone with my parents, standing under a street lamp. I slammed my foot on the brakes, and the car skidded forward for quite a distance. My uncle walked quickly toward me, opened the front passenger door, and sat beside me. Despite standing in such heavy rain, his clothes were completely dry. Puzzled, I asked him what he was doing there. He replied softly, "Just standing here, son." He seemed lost and distant. The man who was usually talkative, cheerful, and quick to laugh was now completely silent, speaking only a few words with great effort. When I asked him if everyone was all right, he said, "Yes, son, everyone is perfectly fine. Don't worry."
I came because I didn't feel like leaving without meeting you. I was astonished, wondering where he was going, but seeing his condition, I didn't think it was appropriate to ask. I felt the accident had affected his senses and that he might be in shock. I myself was in a hurry to get to the hospital, so I kept driving quietly. When we reached the hospital parking lot and I got out of the car, I froze in shock. The seat next to me was empty. I quickly entered the hospital, and right in front of me stood my father, looking deeply sorrowful. I wanted to tell him about my uncle, but he silently walked quickly, taking me inside with him. The scene in the room left me stunned. Right there on the bed lay my uncle's lifeless body. He had died instantly in the road accident. My mother and my aunt came toward me, crying, and embraced me, but I was in such disbelief that I couldn't even console them. I felt my legs trembling beneath me. Darkness clouded my vision. If my uncle had passed away at the moment of the accident, then who had been sitting beside me in the car just now? Was it really him? His voice had the same gentleness, the same affection, but his eyes carried a deep sadness. He couldn't say much. Was his love for me truly so strong that he couldn't leave without seeing me one last time? Had his soul decided to meet me before departing forever? These are the questions that still wake me up at night. This is the mystery I have never been able to solve. Time passed. Years went by. People say time heals every wound, but my uncle's memories, his love, and everything about him feel just as fresh as if it all happened yesterday. So friends, this was today's story. I hope you're enjoying our tales. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.